So, NFL football. Oh man, we're so close, bro. We are so fucking close.
I think that's what got me all excited the other night when I was texting you.
Well, because there's preseason football on too, so like it's not real football, but even to look up and see it going on at work and to know that football is that close is like, oh shit.
And also like I was like gonna do some mock drafts, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm not even in any leagues.
Yeah,
so I need to find
at work,
a league.
Filled up, so Dannon had to step out of that one. So, but I mean, we talked about it, and if you find other people, I
only need I don't know, 5 more people.
I could probably get people at work too to join just a separate league.
I'm thinking just doing like $50 or something, like small, like not
because an
anything.
8-person league is really hard.
Because I want to try this 8-person league.
It's got to be unbelievably hard because every single team is going to be stacked.
Yeah, and so there's a big difference between deciding between 2 really good players and deciding between like 2 really shit. Because so I used to think that people will play in these 16-team leagues and shit, and I used to think that shit was harder, but it's not because you're grasping at any fucking straw.
Yeah, and in those 16 or 14-team leagues, I was in a 14.
I was in a 14 one too.
It's more that who got the best player.
Right.
So if you got the star of that year, if you got Derrick Henry that year, or you got the whatever, like the year Todd Gurley went off, like you were going to win because you were going to get the most points per week from the top scorer. And let's say you were lucky enough to pair that number 1 with actually a pretty good second pick, you were just going to run away with it because everybody else's teams were probably depleted and no good.
You're playing, so you're deciding between like wide receiver 4s and 5s, going who do I think's going to hit?
Yeah,
and you're just fucking rolling the dice. Whereas in an 18, if you only have 8 teams, you're going to be deciding between 2 really good fucking players.
Yeah,
and there's a real good chance that the one you pick goes off on your bench and you're going to be so pissed off, and it's really hard.
8
and
teams
you're playing more matchups and stuff like that.
Every single person on your bench, the last person on your bench is going to be probably a running back 1, wide receiver, like they're a starter, so and they're getting real minutes.
And I've never played in an 8-team league. The lowest I've done is a 10, and even then you get stacked teams.
Stacked, yeah.
And so I have this theory that 8 is actually going to be a harder league than the 14.
I'm down. Yeah, that'd be fun. And for $50, like it's just for fun.
And for $50,
winner take all. I like it. It's
I should probably organize this shit pretty quick.
Well, we got a couple. I think we got like
3 weeks,
20 days, 19 days, something like that. Or 3 weeks.
We could do it like as a waiver wire show, kind of.
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah. We could be one of the teams on there. Waiver wire
you have one, I have one, and we'll find 6 other people. And then we'll kind of keep up with it.
5. If we use waiver wire as a, are you saying waiver wire is a team on that 8 team as well?
Oh, I guess we could do that too. Yeah. And then talk about
we make decisions for
we did talk about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that. But I don't know how we would compete against. I'm not gonna lie because
we have to do
if
it
it's waiver wire versus me.
Because we have to, because we're gonna do it fucking live, and
I'm too competitive. I'm too competitive. I'm already taking this out. There's no way. I'm gonna want to beat the waiver wire for sure. So today, this morning, I wrote down some of the injuries on ESPN right now. It was actually the injury little section of the ESPN NFL, whatever, their little ESPN website. It actually had a lot of information about what the coaches said and what exactly is going on with them. So let's get into it. Not all teams had injury stuff too, all teams had injuries. I'm leaving off, obviously, every single defensive player on here. I'm leaving off. This is only people that will affect what I think.
Fantasy football.
They could get drafted in fantasy football, and they're definitely names that are out there.
So this is a preseason fantasy football injury report.
Arizona Cardinals. And some of these, I think it kind of affects the way that I'm thinking about what could happen to them. Because if you're starting off with this injury, that's not a very good sign.
Especially someone like Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray with a wrist injury that I didn't know about. I think they might just be playing it safe with him, and they're trying to keep him out of the preseason, but it's still interesting to hear about. especially with everything else that came with the Arizona Cardinals this offseason.
Right.
Marquise Brown, their receiver that they traded from the Ravens, is going to be their probably number one while DeAndre Hopkins is out. He is dealing with a hamstring injury that happened in practice. So I didn't know about that.
Which is always not good for speed guys.
Which, yeah, that's what he is, right? He's just a speed guy. He's not very big, but he is very, very fast. So him not having that, and you're already down DeAndre Hopkins. I think I was dead on about how they will definitely struggle in those first 6 games and probably not. They're not going to go undefeated for 10 games like they did last year. I just don't see that, especially with San Francisco and the Rams. Now, the Rams got a lot of interesting injuries too, but Zach Ertz, a calf injury that he had in practice. And he's
getting old, though. Huh?
Yeah, and that's another thing too, getting old, and a calf injury is kind of weird in football. I mean, is that going to get better? Is that something that over the season?
I've had a calf injury before, and they suck.
Yeah.
They're painful.
Yeah, and you're a professional athlete. I mean, and it was tough to get out there and do it.
It was hard to get back on the field.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing. Like the Zach Ertz, I don't know. It kind of makes me backpedal on all of them fantasy wise. Arizona wise, I don't know.
I'm a little down on Arizona anyways, just because I don't know. Kyler got paid though, right? So he should be happy. But
yes, there is one guy that I'm finding in the mock drafts that I'm comfortable with is like maybe my last pick. No, my last pick, my very last pick. Rondale Moore. He's a rookie from last year that actually came on at the end of the year and played really well. He was a guy that was picked up a lot in waiver wires. He wasn't monster numbers, but they were consistent, and he was getting the ball thrown to him. I just think without DeAndre Hopkins, I'm willing to run a risk as my last pick of kind of just filling out the end of my bench for Rondale Moore, because I think that early on he could have some success. So let's say in the first couple of weeks, one of my guys gets hurt or just isn't really performing. Hopefully, that's a hidden sleeper for you. But yeah, Arizona I'm backpedaling on. Atlanta Falcons, their star wide receiver that I think they drafted him 8 or 9 or something like that, Drake London. He got hurt in this first preseason game. They are iffy. I think if he is going to start week 1, but he definitely got banged up, and
nobody cares.
Nobody gives a fuck. And if you were thinking like, "Ooh, I'm going to get that rookie from USC," first of all, don't draft anybody in Atlanta. I know Cordell Patterson. I know people are going to tell you Cordell Patterson, but
I would draft Cordell Patterson. After what he did last year, I'm sorry, you have to.
He was a dual threat last year.
Why would he not be the same?
Because Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, but he's going to have to dump that shit off all the time. He's just going to be this little dinky dunk thing. Oh, bro.
I don't even know if he'll be able to do that. I have zero faith in Marcus Mariota. Zero faith.
Cordell Patterson, I don't know.
But that was Matt Ryan.
Where you can get him, though, I don't know.
I think actually where you can get him is too high for me. That's my problem. Is that
that's like your second running back after you've already taken 3 wide receivers?
He's locked in right there at that Elijah Mitchell, Travis Etienne Jr.
Right.
I'm taking all those guys over him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, those guys are gone. You still need a second running back.
I don't know. I think I'd even rather Kareem Hunt. I'd rather have anybody. Again, I'm going with the new strategy this year, which says
Kareem Hunt over Cordell Patterson.
I say no to bad teams.
Yes, but I get that.
And Cordell Patterson had down weeks. He had weeks that weren't
faded.
Yeah, he had weeks that weren't amazing, and why will we think that this will be any different? Yes, let's say their offense, just because of NFL. Usually in the first couple of weeks you see better offense because everybody's healthy and you've got your full squad out there.
Well, it's usually different because they don't practice enough and they don't have as many preseason games. These first couple games usually fucking.
Well, he killed it at the beginning of last year, though.
He did. Well, he didn't kill it because nobody picked him up until after like week 3 or 4. Because I remember talking about possibly picking him up.
Yeah, but it was there in the first couple of weeks, and we saw that it was like, oh wow, this Cordell Patterson actually is getting, he's actually getting targets, and then he had like a monster one of those early weeks. He had like a big early week, but I'm not going to say that might not happen to you again this year. If you draft Cordell Patterson, you might go, look at that. He had a great week 4. Holy shit. He killed it. But I would just be worried about...
I'm not saying I wouldn't be worried. I just think that, I don't know.
See,
I think I'd be okay with it.
I think
I've gotten burned by Cordero Patterson before in the past.
I think with my strategy of going after good teams and leaving the bad teams out of it, I think what I'm realizing is that I can have maybe some early woes with drafting people that are not starters or not big names. Like Cordell Patterson's a better name running back than Kareem Hunt at this point, you would say, in fantasy.
Probably.
I would say most people agree with you.
I would think most people would be taking Cordero Patterson over Kareem Hunt.
I would say so.
I would think so.
But in my mind, Cleveland with Jacoby Brissett moves almost into that category of I don't want to draft from, so maybe Kareem Hunt's a bad example. But James Cook, who is the rookie from Georgia that got drafted by Buffalo. Now, Buffalo goes Devin Singletary as a starter. Okay, fair enough. As time goes on, as they are a good team and going to be in some good games, Devin Singletary might get banged up. And now James Cook steps into a starting role on the Buffalo Bills. I'll take that all day over Cordell Patterson. And I realize that early on in the season, it might mean that I'm getting a 0 to nothing from my running back 2 position or from my running back 3 position. But as we go on deeper into the season, I think that these better teams, like Devin Singletary, for instance, at the end of last year,
okay, so would you
he played really well.
You'd rather have Devin Singletary than Cordero Patterson?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And you can definitely get him instead.
And he might, early on, it might struggle because they're going to throw the ball. They're going to be more offense through Josh Allen than they are through the running game.
You would hope that the Bills have decided to not have Josh Allen be their fucking
that's what they've
back.
said. That's what the coaches said. The coaches said that they don't want that to be in every and I'm not naive to that. I realize that drafting Devin Singletary over somebody like Cordell Patterson or somebody that is on a bad team, I think my concept is that later on in the year they might come up big for me, and that's when I need them. You need them at the end. You need them in the playoffs. You need them when I don't need Cordell Patterson in my Super Bowl getting me fucking 3 points. You know what I mean? Which towards the end of the year when Atlanta's getting their dick kicked in, that really might not be might be what's going on. Anyways, Baltimore's J.K. Dobbins still coming back from last year's surgery, and Gus Edwards dealing with an injury as well. So both of the running backs on Baltimore are dealing with injuries.
Definitely worried about that, man. J.K. Dobbins.
And he's going kind of higher, right? Like people are kind of like, oh, J.K. Dobbins is back this year. This is a good pickup. And I wasn't against that mindset. I like J.K. Dobbins, and I think this might be a good year for him.
If maybe he can stay healthy, apparently.
And we're already starting off like this.
Right.
You go into week 1 with that, it's like I don't know.
We saw this. He was out all of last year. Yeah. Now he's coming back off this injury, and he's injured again.
They also had Gus Edwards go out for the year early on last year, so he's right, or did he play? No, I think he went out for the year.
I think Baltimore had a pretty rough year with their
lots of
running
injuries.
Back injuries.
And on the secondary too, they lost somebody else on the second. Anyways,
I'm not really big on Baltimore.
I'm not either.
Anyways.
I'm not either. I think I'm totally backed off on them.
Yeah. I don't even want Jackson.
No, I don't want Lamar Jackson. I don't really want Mark Andrews.
Nah, because he would be the only one.
But you're going to overspend for it.
Yeah, but you got to take him in the
second
round,
and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I'd rather have like Schultz from Dallas.
Sure. Dawson Knox.
And those two guys.
Yeah. Even your boy Hawkinson. I think that this is a resurgent year for Hawkinson. I think he has a better year this year.
Well, you can also they're more like 7th, 8th round seems like guys.
Yeah, you don't have to overpay for that. You can wait on that. So
and don't get me wrong, Mark Andrews was a baller.
He was.
Is a baller.
He was.
And will fucking play well.
I think he outscored Travis Kelce.
I think he was number 1.
I think he was number 1. Yeah. So, but Travis Kelce came on at the end and was really good, but that's neither here nor there because Baltimore, is what we were on, and I would back off of Baltimore. I
just
would
not high
do
on-
it. Yeah, I
yeah,
would not do
not
it.
high on Baltimore.
Carolina's DJ Moore, hurt in practice, is considered to miss maybe 4 weeks.
Oh, really? He's basically the only person that I would want from Carolina. But if we're sticking with I'm not going to draft anybody from shitty teams. I really ain't.
Yeah,
I don't want to pay. There's other good receivers around that same spot. Like
somebody's going to pick Christian McCaffrey in the first round.
Oh yeah,
hilarious! Why are you doing this? He is going to get over or under 6 games for the year.
Under.
Is it? I mean, if there's a prop bet out there that says that Christian McCaffrey will play the entire year, he'll play all 17 games, it's got to be like a 10,000 to 1. If Vegas has got one of those, it's got to be like.
It probably is. Will Christian McCaffrey stay healthy the whole season?
It's probably a good thing to put money on because the win would be so big. Like if you put $100 on that,
crazy
the payout's got to be $1 million. But there's no way.
It'd be what's the odds?
No, the odds have got to be 10,000 to 1. 10,000 to 1. There's no way he plays an entire year. He gets hurt every single year for an extended period of time.
He's just too small.
I don't want nothing to do with Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, he's too small and he's white. Fuck out of here, this white guy. Fucking crazy. But DJ Moore missing at least maybe week
up to
1.
4 weeks.
Well, and that's from now. And I think it was from last week too. So they're saying there's a chance he could play week 1. But even the fact that there's that question mark on him already, I'm good. Leave me out of Carolina. I am good on all that.
Man.
I don't want Robbie Anderson.
Who's throwing them the ball,
Baker. It'll be Baker. They're going to start Baker. And then whenever Baker starts to not look so good, they'll throw Sam Darnold out there.
And they said Baker was hurt all of last season, so maybe
we'll see.
Maybe he's better.
We'll see, but not with. I don't think with that team.
Probably. He's still short.
And white. But in that position, you're allowed to be white. It's one of the only ones you're allowed
to be a white quarter. Matter of fact, they prefer it.
Yeah, they're really hard on the black ones. They actually really like the white ones. If you're a white one, you can be a backup for 12 years. If you're a black quarterback, you got 3 years. Carolina, I'm out. Chicago, I'm definitely out. And David Montgomery still dealing with the injury from last year. He's still, I think they said that he was removed from the PUP list, but it's like that. We're like, he hasn't even been able to really practice at all. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you want with him.
Into the Bears anyways.
People like David Montgomery because he is the bell cow for them, and they do use him a lot, but I'm good on the Bears. The Bears are going to lose a lot of games.
You can have him.
He's one of those ones, like, later on in the year.
Yeah, if you beat me with David Montgomery.
Good on you. Good on you. They traded for N'Keal Harry.
I'll let you have that one.
Which I don't think anybody would really draft in fantasy, but it did say that he is supposed to make significant time. So
who is that?
N'Keal Harry was the wide receiver for the Patriots that got drafted in the first round, but they just traded him to the Bears. But I just saw that and was like, oh, that's funny. So they got somebody that they were like, hey, maybe we can bring N'Keal Harry back to life. And then he's out with an injury. Fuck! But yeah, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, I'm sorry. It's not looking too good.
I grew up a Bears fan.
The Bears. But yeah, no, not now. So Cincinnati.
Now I'm a Texans fan.
Woo! Yeah. From good to better. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow had an appendectomy, had his appendix taken out.
Oh, fun.
So he hasn't practiced and he hasn't played right now. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he's just letting this naturally heal. It's probably a good thing. Like, he played all the way to the Super Bowl, so they had an extended, I think that's what's going on with T. Higgins. He had something from last year that is just still kind of bothering him.
Yeah, you want the Cincinnati receivers. They're going to definitely slam that thing.
Yeah,
it should be a good offense.
Hell yeah.
I'll take both those guys on my squad.
I'll take Joe Mixon. I'll take
Mixon.
And so
definitely Chase.
We did the draft order for my league, and I got second.
Oh.
So, really puts me in a weird spot, right?
You might get Cooper Kupp.
So, okay, that's where I'm stuck. That's where I'm stuck because I'm almost convinced that number one's going to take Jonathan Taylor. I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure he's going to take Jonathan.
You want?
I think I'm going to take Jamar Chase at 2. I think so. Is Cooper Kupp going to do what he did last year?
Maybe.
The stats don't say that. History doesn't say that. Very rarely does a receiver do what he did, and then Jerry Rice did, but that's Jerry fucking Rice. Like,
yeah, but fucking 9 loves 10, bro.
10. I know. I go back and forth.
You've been saying, oh my God.
I know, but Jamar Chase.
You don't want Cooper Kupp on your team?
I do.
I hear you. I like Jamar Chase too, and once you say
Jamar Chase is going to go off. That's the problem.
So, do you think Jamar Chase is going to do what Cooper Kupp did last year?
Maybe not what Cooper Kupp did, but do I think that Jamar Chase will oversee him as the number one wide receiver?
I don't know, bro.
I think he's going to be the number one.
You think Jamar Chase is the best receiver in fantasy football this year? I think it's not close. A crazy. You're not saying crazy shit.
I know, it's so hard. I'm so torn.
But I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm saying that you've been preaching.
I know
for the last.
I've been saying he's number one
6 months. That you would take Cooper Kupp number one.
Number one.
Now you have the second pick,
and I'm second guessing.
And you're gonna take Jamar Chase.
But Jamar, you're saying it like it's a bad name. It's a good name. You know Jamar Chase is gonna ball. I
do know that. I've been taking him a lot at like 5.
And, Allen Robinson being added to the Rams. Look at the injuries on the Rams. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, they're both hurt right now. That happened from current practices, so it's not like this is something that was from last year. Cam Akers was out for all of last year.
So they're losing their running backs. Do you think that's going to make him throw
Stafford's
less?
Elbow.
All right. Now you're saying things that might make sense.
I don't know.
Joe Burrow's appendix.
Yeah, but that's different, like Matt Stafford's throwing elbow or Joe Burrow's tummy.
But he had the same injury last year.
Okay. Well,
he's been playing through it. That's why they're resting him.
I go back and forth. But some days it's obvious I got to take Cooper Kupp. Some days I'm gonna watch Jamar Chase.
Let me ask you this question: would you be more pissed off if Cooper Kupp does what he did last year again and is the number one receiver?
Who's the number one? The number one.
So if you take
position.
Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp goes off, would that piss you off? Watching Cooper Kupp go off on someone else's team more than if you take Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase goes off?
Here's the problem. It's like I've talked myself into that no matter what, both of those are real.
So which one can you live with more?
I think most days I'm Cooper Kupp, but I'm looking at
white boy.
He's a white boy. And that's the thing. I kind of feel like the secondaries are. Oh, that's right. 100% African American, and they might get to the point where they're like, "Fuck this white boy," and I don't want to, call injury on anyone. And he did a great job staying healthy last year, but could I see a big injury coming for Cooper Kupp?
Oh, don't say that.
I know, but that's the thing. Am I taking this is Cooper Kupp's 6th, 7th year in the league?
I don't know.
And this is Jamar Chase's 2nd. Who, statistically, the 2nd year is a good year for a receiver. The 7th year receiver.
Bro, he just put together one of the best seasons that anyone's ever had. Same quarterback. That was in his first year with that quarterback.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I've got weeks, okay?
I'm taking Cooper Kupp.
I've got weeks to think about it.
I would take you, Cooper Kupp. I would.
But yeah, so let's keep going here. Dallas.
We got stuck on that.
Yeah, we did. We've gotten through like 5 teams. Dallas. Michael Gallup is still dealing with his ACL surgery. It will not be there for Week 1. And James Washington, the receiver from Pittsburgh that they signed, had a Liz Frank or something with his foot. Maybe fractured his foot, and he's going to be out 4 weeks.
Awesome.
So Dallas has CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Ezekiel Elliott, And that's it.
And some other people.
And that's it. And they're going to roll out whatever the fuck else they got. I have Dallas plays Tampa Bay week 1. They're going to get smoked. They're going to get absolutely smoked with all of Tom Brady's new weapons. I have no good feelings about Dallas. No good feelings about Dallas. I don't want CeeDee Lamb. I don't want CeeDee Lamb because... Yes, you will.
You gotta get him in the second round, probably.
Yeah, you gotta
third round, maybe.
Yeah, and there's other guys that I would rather take over him.
Yeah.
So, I guess I would be semi-comfortable with Dak in a 12-team, 1-quarterback league. If it got to a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm drafting like the 10th round, because I am waiting super long on the quarterbacks. I don't
Are you guys
care.
doing the super flex?
No, they all fought me on it. They all fought me on it. I knew they were. I knew these pussies fought me on kickers. They're still fighting me for the kicker position. You know what I've started to ask them too, which is a hilarious response to get from the kicker fans. Do you stream kickers or do you stick with one kicker for the whole year? What do you think the answer is?
Most of them stream.
Everybody streams. So I'm like, what the fuck do you want this for anyways? Like, so you want this to be your last pick? Like, you're not, so, okay, either you're the idiot, and I'm going to call you an idiot for drafting Justin Tucker in the 8th round because you believe that he's that much better of a kicker than Evan McPherson or any of these other fucking kickers. Like, most good teams that score points, you're going to get 5 or 6 extra point. You're going to get at least 10 points from your kicker every single week. Just because they play for the Bills or they play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they score points every single week. It's so fucking stupid. Fuck a kicker. Fuck a kicker forever. Shout out Pat McAfee. But
he's
yeah,
a punter.
Well, they're all a bunch of gay hamstrings out there that can just suck it. But yeah. And they would, because they're all gay. Look at how, I'm attacking the LGBT community. Suck that, algorithm. But yeah, Denver, Tim Patrick tore his ACL.
Oh,
and he's
done.
out for the year.
Yep.
Which I guess is a good thing for Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy.
Yep.
Tim Patrick was somebody that was getting targets in years past and was kind of a...
And he's good.
He was a weird, like nobody would draft him, but then he'd be there on the waiver wire and you'd be like, hey, I'll take Tim Patrick. Yeah. But he's out, so that's a weapon gone for Russell Wilson. Kind of interesting to start off the year like that. Detroit, who I'm high on, Jameson Williams from Alabama is dealing with an injury from the last year's college season. He actually didn't do a lot. He didn't run a 40. He didn't do anything like that, just I think because of that injury.
He was their top. He was that top receiver, right?
Top wide receiver. But he got hurt in the championship game. But anyways, super fast. Everybody's super excited about him with Detroit. And I think from what was on Hard Knocks, they're just playing it safe so that he can be ready for week 1.
I remember watched Hard Knocks. I forgot.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of a hot take. I'm not a big Hard Knocks fan. It's kind of boring. Like, it's kind of slow, and it doesn't really... Like, you kind of have to love football, which I do, but sometimes watching him, you're like the hilarious Jeff Fisher quote where he's like, I'm not going to go... What was it? I'm not going to go 7-9 again. And then he went 7-9 because that's who Jeff Fisher was. But, yeah, so I will check out Hard Knocks because I've heard this is a good season. I've heard that Dan Campbell, their head coach, is crazy and he says crazy things. So, and then Aiden Hutchinson, the number 1 pick, number 2 pick, number two pick because they took the other guy from Georgia. But yeah, Detroit also has that. I'm not going to pretend to know how to say his first name. Quintez Cephas, I believe it is. Was another good kind of slot receiver that they had, and he got an injury in their first preseason game. So that's 2 receivers that are kind of iffy for Detroit. That kind of gives me pause on maybe my super. I had them going 8-9. I don't know how close that'll be, but the Vegas has them winning 6 games. I would still say they're over. I like Detroit this year. I think they're going to be a sneaky team. Green Bay is man.
Yeah, your boy.
Green Bay, who already doesn't have any receivers. They have Alan Lazard and the rookie that they drafted in the second round, Christian Watson. He got an injury in practice. Randall Cobb is dealing with an injury. He is also 47 years old. And Robert Tonyan is still dealing with an ACL surgery from last year. So I am all good on the Packers. I don't even want Aaron Rodgers. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I don't want Aaron Jones. I don't want any of these receivers. There's no receiver you can talk me to. I think Green Bay has moved into the do not draft for me.
Well, it's still Aaron Rodgers. I don't want Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback,
right,
but because he will be throwing it, and Lazard is his only, like...
Would you take Trey Lance or Aaron Rodgers?
Trey Lance.
Would you take Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers? I'm taking Kirk Cousins.
Probably Kirk Cousins, and...
That offense is going to be better than this one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have more weapons.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But I would take Lazard as well.
Would you take Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Derek Carr's new Aaron Rodgers. He got Devontae Adams.
We'll see.
I don't know. If I'm choosing between all those, I'm not taking Aaron Rodgers in any of those situations.
I would take Aaron Rodgers anyway.
I don't want it. I think this is a bad year.
I have to choose between him and Derek.
And listen, he took a deal that is the biggest deal. Nobody's ever gotten $50 million a year for a quarterback. He took it because it is the biggest deal that anyone's ever got. The money is going to set him up for the rest of his days. He'll never have to worry about money for the rest of his life. That's great. But what you sacrificed is that Devontae Adams had to go. You really didn't add anything on defense because there is no cap room to do anything on defense. Yes, you have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and I think that running game will actually be better this year. It will win them games in their shitty division. They will beat the Bears, and they will probably beat the Lions, or at least split with the Lions. But I'm good on Green Bay. They're going to have a bad year.
I think you can get Lazard for a good price.
You can,
because he's the number one.
Somebody's going to catch these balls. And
someone has to catch these balls.
It's true, but I just...
So Lazard in the 10th round.
I don't know if he's there in the 10th, though. I think people are going to take him because where he's ranked in ESPN is higher than that. He's in like the 6th or 7th round area. And people are going to do it because they're going to be like, somebody's going to catch these balls. And I don't disagree with that phrase, but
yeah, I don't know if I'd want Lazard in the 7th.
Fuck Green Bay, man. I'm not into it. And I kind of thought Christian Watson might be a good, really late round pick because, he is a big bodied receiver, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have to throw to somebody. But if he's already gotten banged up in preseason week 1 for a rookie receiver, that's not a good sign. You need to kind of come out the gate fresh and ready to go.
Yeah.
So I'm good on Green Bay. Jacksonville's James Robinson is dealing with an injury from last year and still been held out so far, has not practiced. But I really think that this is a Travis Etienne Jr. year. I think he takes over. So I'm not big on James Robinson anyways, but I think that he is a name that will get drafted. And but I'm going to pass. If it's James Robinson or another wide receiver, if that's where my choices are, where I end up in the draft, I'm gonna go somebody else. I'm gonna go another wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm good with
the Jaguars, though. I do think they win more games. I'm just not big on him. Darren Waller still dealing with an injury from last year. Has not practiced. That's kind of suspect for me. I'm big on Darren Waller. I'm really high on Darren Waller. I think actually I'm going to reach for him and take him a lot earlier than other people will. Because I think Devontae Adams frees up the middle of the field, and I think that gives him a lot more open looks. You still got Hunter Renfrow to deal with, and they still have a running game with Josh Jacobs. So I'm big on the Raiders, and I'm big on Darren Waller. But that injury is also, I see it. The Rams, like I said, both running backs are dealing with injuries that have happened in practice. So this isn't something from last year. This is something that they are currently dealing with and are going to go into the year banged up. Matt Stafford's got the elbow injury, and Van Jefferson got hurt in practice. So that being said, the Rams won the Super Bowl. Now, that means that you played longer than everybody else, just like Cincinnati. You played more games than anyone else. You played longer into the year than anyone else. So, let me ask you this. Who is more likely to have a Super Bowl hangover? The Rams or the Bengals?
Well, the Rams, because they won. They don't have that fire burning in there. They don't have that bad taste in their mouth.
I hear that. I actually think most people would disagree with you. I would say most people would say the Bengals who has a better chance of getting back to the Super Bowl. People would say the Rams have a better chance of getting back to the Super Bowl, just because they do still have Cooper Kupp.
That's a different question, though.
They picked up. I agree.
You can still get back to the Super Bowl and have a Super Bowl hangover.
That's a good point.
Super Bowl hangover isn't going to last all season. It's usually just the first few games, and you struggle getting going.
Oh, so you're talking me out of Cooper Kupp? Okay, fine. I'm Jamar Chase then. Fuck. The Rams. It's interesting to note. I don't know. I don't know what happens.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is not on there.
But without Matt Stafford,
yeah,
you don't want Cooper Kupp.
Minnesota's Irv Smith Jr.
Who that is?
He's their tight end. Their starting tight end. Last year actually was kind of sleeper good pick. He just got put on the PUP. The not gonna play at the beginning of the year list. So that's very
physically unable to perform.
Yes, he's not gonna be there, and that means
sorry, man, I ain't taking him.
That means I'm not drafting him.
Yeah.
And I know that some people will just because he's a name and they'll remember it from last year.
I'm not doing this drafting motherfuckers that are hurt for an extended period of time.
Bad idea.
I don't know, part of D Hop, keep him. Those first 6 games are a big deal.
It is. And he's still, ESPN-wise, it's still got him somewhere in that 6th, 7th round. And I think
you're just
I
not
would
going to
skip
get a
on it,
return
too.
on investment there.
Arizona,
I want somebody I can use. I need someone I'm starting every week in that round.
Arizona, I'm backing out on Arizona.
Yeah.
So, New Orleans, Taysom Hill is dealing with a hip injury, and Jameis Winston is still dealing with his ACL surgery from last year. Very interesting that both of them are, I mean, listen, if you go to a Taysom Hill quarterback run team, I've got no hope for you.
I don't really have a whole lot of hope for the Saints anyways, so.
If Jameis Winston is 75% Jameis Winston, they might win 7 games. They might win 6 or 7 games, but I don't know what I have them at.
Their defense is going to have to really be stout.
Yeah, they are. And their season should be a little easy just because of their division, because Carolina sucks and the Falcons absolutely suck. So they'll get some wins there. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not big on Alvin Kamara because I'm not going to spend like that for a running back.
Nah, and one of the things that you've been talking about is just he's got a lot of miles on him. What the fuck's going on with him fucking assaulting that dude?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's still never been brought up. I forget about it all the time, but that's going to come back to light at some point. I'm good on Alvin Kamara. I'm good on Michael Thomas. I had him
last year, I think. And
you took him. He was your first round pick.
Yeah.
The Giants, they have 2 receivers, Kadarius Toney and Darius Slayton, both young little stars that they have. Oh, and Sterling Shepard is on the PUP list as well. So a lot of their receivers are hurt, and that means that I guess Kenny Galladay, if you feel that way, if you think the Giants are going to be better,
man, you can keep the Giants.
I'm good on the Giants. The New York Jets, man. What a bummer for these guys, bro.
What happened?
He's gonna have surgery. He's gonna have MCL surgery. It's doubtful. It's a scope, so it's not like a season ending. But it happened in preseason week 1 where he got hurt, and it's like, man, like they do all this good stuff in the draft. I think they really are about to turn a corner. Zach Wilson could have a much better year, and then boom, week 1. Preseason week 1. Fuck the preseason, man. I have no idea why they do the preseason. They should have joint practices. They should do those joint practices. I don't know if they should be filmed or not, but whatever. And then let's just go straight into week 1. The preseason is ridiculous. These guys know pretty much who they're going to sign to the 53-man team roster. I don't think it really has that big of a difference. Anyways, I just hate the preseason. And look what happened. Now the Jets season could be completely over now if this guy's got an injury that he's dealing with all year. So Zach Wilson went down, and that does change my mind a little bit on the Jets. There were Jets that I was like, I'll take what's your boy Corey Davis. I'll take him in the 9th or 10th round, because I think the Jets might be better. Yeah. But now I don't know. Now maybe
somebody gotta catch these balls.
Somebody's gotta catch these balls.
Man, I don't know. he didn't really do anything last year for me, anyways.
That's true, but they picked up. I know. I know. I see the moves that they made, and they really did. They spent money in free agency, and they're trying, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
I'm not real excited about the Jets.
Yeah, heard that. As no one should be. Philadelphia Eagles, who I am high on, and I'm high on this guy, even though it's said that Miles Sanders is dealing with an apparent leg injury. So I'm real high on Miles Sanders. He might be my first running back taken because I'm going to wait that long on running backs. And I'm just big on... now, there was a couple of years ago where he was a home run hitter. He could break out for 80-yard touchdowns, and he's super fast, and I remember really liking him. He also can catch the ball. So I don't know if maybe I'm just remembering him wrong, and maybe I'm a little too high on him. I think maybe Elijah Mitchell, Miles Sanders, Travis Etienne Jr., that's where I find myself in the mock drafts when I'm finally drafting a running back. Now, who knows what happens in a real draft? Mock drafts aren't always dead accurate, but Miles Sanders I'm still high on. I'm still going to do it if I have the chance. But the injury is glaring to me that it's had apparent leg injury, but I'll keep an eye on it. Boston Scott, who is their backup, also dealing with an injury from practice. So both of the running backs for Philly are kind of banged up. But I think that this is more of a Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor. I think they're throwing the ball a lot more than they are running it. Which
they were the number one rushing team last
interesting,
year.
Right? Interesting that they were the number one. That really came on later in the year, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm high on Miles Sanders is that I realize both of my running backs might be a situation where they might not give me anything in week one. I could end up with fucking goose eggs out of my fucking running backs in week one. However, as the year goes on, I think they're an investment. I think it's that later on in the year, these running backs are going to come into play a lot more and could have much more consistent, better games to where if you want to draft Christian McCaffrey in the first round, I'm going to beat you because you're not going to have a running back and my running back's going to be good. So that it's a crazy strategy. It is not at all last year I drafted 3 running backs in my first 3 picks. And so and it went terribly. It went fucking as terribly as it could have gone. So I'm switching it up. I'm going the other way. I'm going receiver heavy. So, but yeah. Pittsburgh, Claypool, and Deontay Johnson both dealing with injuries. That's very telling to me. I mean, first of all, I don't know how good Mitchell Trubisky's gonna be. I'm not big on it, and I think that they're a Najee Harris team. I think they're gonna run the fuck out of the ball with Najee. So Deontay Johnson is interesting. I know that he's gonna get drafted at least higher than Chase Claypool.
He was good last year.
Yeah, but for him to be dealing with an injury is not a good start. So
I don't really want any of the Steelers anyways.
Yeah, I'm out on the Steelers. I'm out on Mitchell Trubisky, and even though I drafted Najee Harris last year, and I do think Najee Harris will have a very good year, I understand if you take him in the first round because they're going to use the fuck out of him. He will be the bell cow, but the Steelers are going to suck, and I just know that there's going to be weeks where he gets you like less than 10 points, and I'm not big on the Steelers either. Elijah Mitchell for the San Francisco 49ers, dealing with an injury from last year. I think that they're just playing it safe with him. Seems like they're just trying to keep him out of preseason so that he's healthy for week one. I'm big on Elijah Mitchell. He's another one that's right there in that area where I think I'm going to have to draft. He's fast. It seems like without Raheem Mostert there, it will be more of like he's getting 3. He's like a 3-down back, and he gets a lot of them. So I'm big on Elijah Mitchell, but I do see that he's still sitting out. Rashad Penny, who is Seattle. Seattle actually has a couple of running backs that they're going to roll out there. I forget the other rookie's name that they took really high, but Penny is dealing with an injury from preseason week 1 that he got. Apparently might miss week 1.
Could be wrong on this, but I feel as though he's been hurt a lot in his career, hasn't he?
Yes. And I'm good on Seattle anyways because
Seattle.
I thought it was going to be Drew Lock, It looks like it's going to be Geno Smith.
Oh, shit.
They're going to start Geno Smith. So Seattle's going for that number 1 pick. I definitely don't want anything to do with any Seattle anything. Even DK Metcalf, you're going to have to overspend for it, and he's going to struggle. With Geno Smith, he's going to struggle.
You don't want that.
No. Or Tyler Lockett. I don't want Tyler Lockett. I don't want anything to do with it. Yeah. Yeah, their careers are going to take a dip this year for sure. Tom Brady. It's not an injury. He just has stepped away for personal reasons. A lot of people are speculating that this was kind of built into him coming back. Like he wanted to spend more time with his kids. And what the fuck does he need with the preseason? You know, like
he's not going to play.
Tom Brady does not need a preseason game.
He's going to make the team.
Yeah, I think he's good. Who's going to be starting week 1 in Tampa Bay? I'll give you one guess.
So all the other guys probably also.
Yes. Godwin, of course, is coming back from ACL surgery, so they're not going to let him play in any preseason games. And I think that they're just trying to be safe with both of these other guys. They don't want to go into week 1 without any weapons for Tom Brady. So what is the point for rolling these guys out there for? And plus, their receiver room is stacked.
Yeah, but this
Julio
is probably
Jones.
the year that Brady goes downhill, you know.
Yeah.
Falls off the cliff.
Falls off the cliff. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, last year he was terrible.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
Josh, it's going to happen.
He's definitely going to happen.
I want to prepare you mentally for the inevitable.
Max Kellerman said so. About 6 years ago. That is absolutely not true. You're going to have to drag the man off the field. When you said goes down, I think one of my biggest fears in life, not just, the sports world, but in my personal life, is that Tom Brady will like Joe Theismann his leg.
That's not what I meant. I meant decline, like he's...
But he is a 45-year-old man, and it's not out of this world to think that an injury could happen. First of all, the guy's amazing.
Pliable.
He gets rid of the ball so fast. He's not scrambling. He's not gonna extend the play. Now, he's lost 3 starting offensive linemen from last year, including his center Ryan Jensen, who is going to be out for a long time. So that's bad. Now, Tom Brady can make anybody look good, and he might make these offensive linemen that step in look like world beaters because he's getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds. But it's just, it worries me. I always worry about my man Tom. Like I said, this doesn't even have to do with sports. Tom Brady goes down with a Joe Theismann injury. I'm gonna feel it like I'm a twin. Like I'm gonna all of a sudden I'll just be standing there and I'll collapse because my leg will be in pain as well. Me and him are connected. He's my soulmate. And don't tell my wife I said that. Still gonna draft him. Still gonna draft Tom Brady if.
You're gonna take him?
Oh fuck yeah!
Off the cliff, bro.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
I would not be surprised if he's number 1. He was number 1 for a very long time. It wasn't until about week 15 through 17 where Josh Allen surpassed him as the number 1 quarterback. But Tom Brady was number 2. And look, adding Julio Jones and Russell Gage, they're going to have a fucking good year. They're going to have a good year. Leonard Fournette's going to be back, and I'm taking Buccaneers for sure. I'm actually real high on Mike Evans. I think he might be my second pick. I think, especially early on, if Chris Godwin's not back at 100%, I think Mike Evans could be catching a lot of touchdowns. We got no Gronk.
Somebody's got to catch these balls.
And not just
Mike Evans gonna
not
catch
just
them
normal
balls.
touchdowns.
Touchdown balls.
Touchdowns.
Yeah.
And in the red zone, he already likes Mike Evans.
Yes.
But there's no Gronk. There's no Chris Godwin here.
I can see Mike Evans having the most touchdowns this year.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm big on Mike Evans. And I take Chris Godwin later too because he's there later on in the rounds because of the injury. So if he falls to you in the 8th or 9th round, whoo boy, I'll take that.
Is he going to be playing week 1?
No, probably not. But again, Julio Jones, I'll take Julio Jones in the fucking. He's the other one that is there as my last pick. It's like Rondell Moore or some of these other kind of no names, but Julio Jones I see him sitting there every single time when I get to my last pick, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll take Julio. If Julio is what they say what they're going to do with him, which is he's going to fill into that Gronk role, run a 10-yard stop, and just get open for me. Tom Brady loves that, and it's big body Julio Jones. I'll fucking take it. I'll take it all day. I'll take Russell Gage. I'll take all the Buccaneers. You can give them all to me. Leonard Fournette. I'm obviously a homer for my home, which is Tom Brady. Tennessee's Robert Woods is dealing with the ACL surgery from last year, so he still hasn't practiced yet.
He could be a good pickup, though.
No!
Yep.
Fuck that guy! Fucking screwed me so hard. I drafted that guy. I thought it was gonna. I drafted him in the 3rd round. Cooper Kupp was taken in the 6th round. So I wasn't the only one that slept on Cooper Kupp, but Robert Woods, man, I took him high last year because I was so sure that this was going to be the year that he was going to blow the fuck up, and fuck Cooper Kupp. I've had Cooper Kupp in the past, and he's fun. That's the other thing, too. I've had Cooper Kupp in the past, and Cooper Kupp, in the past, before Matt Stafford, it was so inconsistent. You would have weeks where it was like, oh, he got me fucking 30 points this week, awesome. And then the next week he'd get you 2. So I'm going to look at it. I go back and forth, man. I know what he just did. I get it with Cooper Kupp, but fuck Robert Woods. And also fuck Robert Woods because without A.J. Brown, you're pretty much asking this guy to be the number 1.
He is the number 1.
Okay, but I don't think he is that. I don't think he's got that in him. So
but he's gonna get balls.
Somebody is, but
and it's not gonna be a bad team.
Know. Because are they not? Because they're basically just a Derrick Henry team again. So I don't know if Robert Woods is gonna catch that many balls because who's gonna run the ball the most?
Who's gonna run the ball the most?
Probably the Titans.
Maybe
the Titans or the Steelers. It's one of those 2 teams, or the Colts maybe, but the Colts will be more balanced because they got Matt Ryan. So I don't know.
Tannehill's not a bad quarterback.
Ooh, he's moving in that direction. It's not getting better, is it?
When he has somebody to throw it to him, and when A.J. Brown came back last year, he seemed fine.
I think I'd pass, but A.J. Brown's not coming back.
Well, I know, but Robert Woods is that guy now.
But Robert Woods or A.J. Brown is substantially better than Robert Woods. I don't know. I think I'm moving more towards Tennessee's moving to my. I don't really have much that I want. I'm not going to take Derrick Henry, obviously, because he's going to be taken in the 1st round. But I don't know. I'm kind of. I don't really know what else I would draft from the other than Derrick Henry. If you're saying Ryan Tannehill, I think
I'm not drafting Ryan Tannehill.
Would you take Tua or Ryan Tannehill?
Oh God!
But if you wait,
who cares?
Well, if you wait,
Tannehill, I'm still taking Tannehill
over Tua. Yeah. I think Tua has a better year. I think
for how many games? What's the over under on him getting hurt?
It's
because he's getting hurt this year for sure.
I don't know
what. Get the fuck out of here! He's smaller than Kyler Murray.
He plays 12 games. He plays 12 games, so he misses a few, but he plays 12 games. Because listen, Miami went for broke.
We don't even know if he's any good yet.
Miami went for broke, though.
You don't even know if Tua's any good.
They went all out, bro. They got offensive linemen for him.
He better be good this year.
They got defensive players. They got Tyreek Hill. They got...
they're preparing to get Tom Brady next year.
I know. I really think that's what's going to happen.
That's what they're setting this up for. Yeah. Or I mean, like, because I guess with all those guys, they can't fucking really suck. But
yeah. But yeah, man, we have talked about football for a long time. We'll just finish it up here with that. The Washington Commanders. Logan Thomas is on the PUP list. He is not going to be there for week 1.
He's always hurt too.
Always hurt, and I'm totally good on the Washington Commanders. I know people like Terry McLaurin, and I know people like Antonio Gibson, but I'm good because I think the Commanders are going to have a really bad year. I do not believe in Commander Carson Wentz, so I'm totally good on Washington Commanders. But these are the injuries that were on ESPN today. There are some teams that are not even on here, but it does affect going in here to your fantasy football. So I thought I'd throw those out there so you could hear it from your favorite fantasy football podcast, DraftKings. Back that Brinks truck up. We're waiting for you. We keep waiting for you. Next!